quite often companies these days are looking externally for advice and guidance on what to do, and that's a good thing, but more often than not, an internal champion can be the best thing for them, the best way of increasing a security posture in a short period of time. So to that, we had a client who was taking security seriously. They had a board of directors who knew that it was topical, they knew it was an issue, they knew that this was something they needed to be doing. But at the same time, they didn't have anyone who was really attuned to information security and what operationally needed to happen in order to be able to raise their posture. They were a utility in this particular example. So they were doing what they could, and that was to try and funnel money to people that they thought were the right people to be increasing this information security posture. And the net result of that was that the people that were getting the money were giving it to vendors, and they were giving it to some consultants. They were giving it all over the place into a program which was not really put together. It wasn't headed up by one person individually. And the net result of that was that really they were going nowhere fast, other than to say they were spending quite a lot of money on doing it. It turns out that we, as CQR, were one such consultant that was actually involved in this puzzle, but had a good enough relationship with a couple of the board members so that we were able to sort of see what was going on at the time. And using the experience that we have, we're able to actually take these guys aside over a coffee and explain to them that the best thing that they can possibly do is to maybe stop some of the spending and to start looking internally for the right person, the right champion who is going to be able to take the situation, who understood information security enough and had enough clout that they could move this person into a position so that the person could reconstruct what their security framework looked like internally, engage consultants where they needed to, engage vendors where they needed to, but engage the skill sets they already had within the business to be able to actually increase things. So it wasn't overnight. They listened to that and they went to market. We put forward a couple of criteria and helped them out with some of the attributes that they should be looking for in one of these people. Obviously, a fundamental understanding of what information security was key. A person who had a proven track record of change management. Not an easy thing to come into a big environment like this one was, with engineering areas and various areas, and actually gain trust. So we then laid out a few other criteria. They went to market, they used a recruiting firm, they went through a pretty intensive process. They found a person who they believed fitted the bill, and I think 2 years on it's fair to say that person did fit the bill. So where they got to really in the end is that over 2 years, and it wasn't a quick approach, it wasn't something that could be solved overnight, this person was given operational authority to be able to make some good decisions. The person came on board, and really I sort of identified that the right approach was not a heavy-handed, it's my way or the highway and a clean out. It was far from it. It was really establishing a good relationship with people right across the business in areas of operation, within IT, within HR, within all the different subsections that made up that particular utility. And once the relationship was there, which he built not just between himself and the team, but his own team of people which he had to put together, they were then in a position to start instigating change and to start talking to people about what they needed to do in order to increase security. As I said before, they brought in the right people, so they identified some good consultancies. I'd like to say that CQR is one of those, but also a number of vendors who are very important. And I think through the process of this, it's fair to say that their security posture now, in comparison to where it was 2 years ago, is infinitely better. And really this was the decision that was based on the fact that they made one change, one key change, and that change was not an external one, it was an internal one. And at the point that they made that change, that's probably the best decision that they've made as a board in order to get themselves to where they are now.